Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back once again. My name is Jordan, also known as JMonster. I want to thank you guys for joining me for another replay battle. Today we're going to be playing on 0.96.1 again. This is another replay sent in to me by JmonsterTW. So again, thank you for the support for the channel, and I would also like to preface this video again by saying that, like the last video, many of these players are new, so be kind. If I see you down there in the comment section being mean to them and being like, "Oh, you're awful," then, you know, I will have some stern words for you, and many recriminations will be forthcoming. But in any case, take a look at some of the army comps here. We have J.D. Toma in 1994, reprising his role as Dane Ironfoot, commanding the Dwarves of Erebor. He's got some Ironfoot Halberds, Mercenary Guildsmen. Don't see these guys too often in battle, so it's nice to see them here on the field today, so we can enjoy their custom skin. Another company there of the Ironfoot Halberds. Got some crossbows as well. And in the center, Ironfoot Warriors backed up with Ironfoot Pikes. A really nice phalanx here. It seems like J.D. Toma is getting a feel for the tactics, because this is a combination that I see all the time. And it's definitely a hallmark, I think, of players who have pretty decent understanding of the game. Moving on over here, Erebor Legionaries. Another unit of Ironfoot Halberds. Axe Throwers of Erebor. Highborn of Erebor, extremely useful support unit. Catapults as well. We've seen the power of the catapult in previous battles. I think the last game they got like 104 kills or something awesome like that. So it can potentially be very useful. It can also, you know, not do anything for you and end up being a waste of money. So it really just depends on how you use it. And that's going to do it for the Dwarves of Erebor. Let's move on to their ally. We have the High Elves, played by Arnaud de Brichier, something like that. And he's going to be bringing some Eldarin Haru Hatal, two companies of them. Eladris Guardians, Eldarin Haru Makil. Eladris Blade Masters, two companies of them. I got some Eladris Sentries, two units of the Eladris Sentries. Unit of High Elven Ballista, and one company of the Northern Cavalry. So another force from the High Elves that focuses mainly on their infantry. It is something that can work. The cavalry support is a little bit more limited, and it can hamstring you in some matchups and on some maps and things like that. But a map like this, I feel like it's going to be mostly an infantry fight. So yeah, I would say that they came prepared. Over here, got some Godalim Aini Hour and Eldarin Haru Quinga, Original Warriors, and one company of let's say Haru Quinga. Oh, just Eldar Quinga. One company of the Haru Quinga, and one company of the Original Warriors. Pretty decent army there. Let's go ahead and see now what Team Red is bringing to the battle today. Not far from the High Elves and menacing their rear lines, we have the forces of Forever Alone. Is he playing again as Harad? I think we found a favorite faction for this particular player. Certainly seen him play it twice now in the two subsequent replays. He's got some Southron Warband. 1, 2, 3 in fact companies of Southron Warband. Can be very, very useful against the Dwarves. Can trade pretty well. Also got some Southron Pikemen. AP Pikes, they are so nice. If you can defend these guys with like some Serpent Guard, for example, they can just be so devastating. Even against heavily armored opponents like the Dwarves, the AP just evens the fight so much. They've got good numbers. The only thing they really lack is solid armor values. Out in front, speaking of Serpent Guard, we have, surprise, Serpent Guard. With their armor upgrades, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 companies of Serpent Guard. 4 companies of the Herodum Spearmen. Got some Black Serpents on the field today. Very deadly, swift 2 HP Lancer companies. And second line, consisting of Muhad Beast Tamers. A bunch of Muhad Beast Tamers. And more Southron Pikemen. Yeah, it looks like we got another Rush army here from Harad. Very, very similar in certain respects to the last build, just less Muhad Berserkers and a little bit more Southron units. He's also brought a single company here of the Mumakil. Let's move on now to his ally, and we have this thing here. So definitely a new player here, on the field today. I don't recommend doing this. It's not really so much strategy as it is just a really nice thing to do for your enemies. The Dwarven player has a catapult. Of course he couldn't know that, but it's, yeah, just don't do this. But the Dwarven player across from him has a catapult, and this is just making him grin with glee when he sees something like this. But in any case, we have the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm, commanded by 13 Pavlos 27. He's got some 4th Legion Shield Guard and some 3rd Legion Infantry, more 3rd Legion Infantry, a whole bunch of 3rd Legion Infantry, 2nd Legion Axe Guard, a bunch of the 4th Legion units, a complete crap ton here, at least 5 of them. 2 companies of the Sons of the Fallen, and 1 unit of Mithril Guard. It's pretty deadly. He could use this to great effect against the his cousins across the field there, but I don't know. This formation, it makes me a little bit leery, but we'll see how he does. Don't want to be too harsh. I mean, of course he's new, but yeah. So let's see how this battle pans out. In any case, I'll see you guys in just a few moments. The Erebor dwarf player, upon seeing this, is going to immediately shoot at it with his catapult. Surprise, surprise. And I think the Dwarven player, Pavlos, is going to see that, and he's immediately going to run for his life, which, as you should. As you should. He's got no ranged units here. It is all infantry, a ton of infantry. He doesn't really have anything to match the Dwarves of Erebor. He could advance forward into this, and he'd probably be okay. He would certainly do a lot of damage to his opponent, but I think the catapult has him running scared. I don't think he realizes that it can't harm his units too much. And so he's going to just kind of flee out of there as quickly as possible. Maybe try and draw his opponent back. I don't know. He's probably just thinking of safety at this point. Over here, we have the Haradrim, who are immediately moving to try and assist their ally, and as they should. The Elves of Imladris, I thought they were a little bit more isolated than they were. Maybe not. This could be a big problem if they decide they want to advance, which maybe it's a good thing the Dwarven player hightailed it out of there as quickly as possible. And the Haradrim, well, let's fast forward here a little bit. The Elves of Imladris seem to be a little bit static at the moment, not too interested in chasing down the fleeing Nogrim. Let's see if the Haradrim decide that they're going to follow them. It seems like maybe the Dwarves are going to run straight up that hill and take up a defensive position, although now that their ally has arrived on the field, they seem a little bit more inclined to turn around and stand and fight. Well, let's see what happens here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to fast forward and observe troop movements. The Eldar Quinga moving forward, and they're going to rake the flank of the Haradrim with deadly bow fire. Ooh, the Haradrim aren't going to take that lion down, though. They're going to chase those guys right out of there. I wonder if they're going to try and fight the High Elves in this pass here. I think that would be... It could go a couple of different ways. If they use the Mumakil with support, I think that they could maybe grind down the Elves through sheer attrition. What I probably personally would have done is leave part of my force over here as flankers and then surround the Elves of Imladris. They've certainly painted themselves into a corner, and I think that would spell doom for them. Mumakil charging forward here. Definitely not gonna want to stay here unaided, but they are acting as pretty decent shock troops. A lot of the Elves of Imladris have gotten caught up and trampled or crushed by the furious strokes of their tusks. Let's see what the rest of the Haradrim are doing. Oh, the Dwarves are going to come in. This is going to be ugly for Imladris. Now would be the perfect time to come in from the rear, cut off their retreat, crush their ally. Pardon me. And of course, the Dwarves of Erebor are going to need to come forward, and I think JD Tomar recognizes this, and he's already in the process of shifting his forces towards his allies' position. Yeah, this is a tough spot for the Elves of Imladris. So the second time I've seen the Haradrim player, Forever Alone, use his Mumakil just as a battering ram, just to charge in, get as many kills as possible, and then just die. Usually I see players try and use them a bit more conservatively, and to the extent to which that's actually useful versus this particular tactic is up for debate. But so far, it's just been a nightmare for the Elves of Imladris. They're just getting stomped. Yeah, just stomped all over by the Mumakil of Forever Alone. And it seems like, oh man, yeah, look at that. A 9% advantage already. The rest of the Elves trying to hold back the time, but the Dwarves are coming in just a big ugly wrecking ball. And Harad is following suit. The Elves of Imladris are good, but I don't think they're quite up to the task of holding back this storm. That's going to leave Erebor pretty well isolated, and it seems like JD Toma is, contrary to my prior assessment, not in any hurry to get in there and help out his ally. So he's going to take up a defensive position, sit back, pepper away at the Haradrim. Beast Teamers here falling prey to some crossbow bolts. maybe not the best. It's really hard to say. The pikes can be so obnoxious, so it is a good idea to try and target them, but the crossbows have a little bit lower ammunition thresholds than the bow units do, which Erebor lacks entirely. And there's a lot of heavily armored Khazad-dûm infantry over here that those crossbows would be extremely effective against. So yeah, that's a tough choice. We'll see how he does. Khazad-dûm just running rough shot all over the Elves of Imladris. There's not really anything that they could do about it. Look at this, just this is surprisingly effective. Granted, the Elves of Imladris didn't really have anything available to them to punish this, and they were a bit out of position. Look at that, 25% to 9%. This is a crushing defeat for the Elves. Dismounted Serpent Guard here, not going to be able to beat down these Elven units from the front. Certainly not the Imladris sentries, but they are extremely compromised. Goldali Mighty are fighting downhill. So far just against the Haradrim Spearmen, but once these units disentangle themselves, they're going to move over here and crush what remains of the Elven resistance. Let's see what they have left. Imladris Guardians here. And they're going to have to be careful. They're going to get themselves stuck on the Mumakil. It's just such a reckless way to use your Mumakil, and it has paid off so wonderfully. I love it. You know, I may actually try this just to use my Mumakil as battering rams and give zero regard to their safety and just see what happens. I like it. It's a very do or die way to play Harad. In any case, the elves, the quality of the elves is really making itself felt here, as they are actually holding back on this tide of Haradrim that outnumber them like probably at least 2 or 3 to 1. More reinforcements coming, a lot of Serpent Guard. Let's see what they do here. The dwarves are actually going to shove off, and they're going to move forward to try and take on the Ironfoot dwarves, who have begun to advance toward their position. Not exactly the best angle for that catapult, but it is going to hit home. Not as much damage as it might have otherwise have done. I would certainly try to move it out of there. Ooh, another hit. Yeah, another couple of hits. It's pretty hard to miss, but still, more damage could be done if they just shifted the angle slightly. Moving them over to here, for example, would be a devastating, like right where these crossbowmen are sitting, or just behind it. That would be a position with a lot of potential for some devastating fire, especially against the Khazad-dûm dwarves. And this is where this blob it worked to beat down Imladris because Imladris had 0 support, but I think with what the Ironfoot dwarves have at their disposal and like the numbers and the armor piercing, I don't think that this trick is gonna work twice. We're definitely seeing the inexperience here of Pavlos showing itself. I think in a straight-up line battle, there would be no hope whatsoever for Erebor. Look at this, 29% to 19. That's a big difference, and the Haradrim are still extremely healthy. Although the elves have them bottled up, so yeah, now the presence of these Mumakil corpses is going to be a problem for the Haradrim. Are they actually running through there? Oh, I see. Some of them are making it around. Others are not. But they are going to be able to make it in behind. And this is where the Imladris, this heroic Imladris stand is going to start to fall apart. Those AP pikes there's not really anything that they have that can deal with them. That being said, not a lot of teamwork that I'm seeing here. And these dwarves will just rush forward in a blob. A lot of them are quite tired, whereas the Erebor forces are very much fresh. Crossbows pouring fire into this. And there goes the Elven General. Yeah. This tactic, interesting. Artless, but it was effective. At least against the elves. And it seems like Pavlos is going to try and do it twice. Just rush his way. Sheer mass and numbers. You can see dwarves, tiny dwarves just flying into the air. Getting pancaked under that inexorable advance of just steel and anger. Halberd's now stiffened by the presence of the Highborn of Erebor. Iron Foot crossbowmen here out of ammunition. Erebor legionaries moving forward. Some companies being left behind to guard the flank and the rear of the Dwarven army. On the Southron Warband are not going to be able to come to the aid of their ally, who is now fully surrounded, trying to muscle his way out of it, just through sheer brute force. But I don't know if it's going to work. Pardon me, guys. Yeah, another push with renewed vigor here from the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm. Axe throwers nearby. Oh, another company of axe throwers. 2 companies of them. The Ironfoot Dwarves try to use their missile units to great effect. That's the only thing that's going to save them in this fight, because the Khazad-dûm push, like, that's pretty strong. There's significantly less of them now. But if they just keep moving around here and crushing these units, then yeah, even the well thought out tactics of JD Toma might not be enough to save him. Ooh, they've just muscled their way. I don't even know where the Highborn of Erebor are anymore. I don't know if Erebor's gonna be able to stop this. What do we got over here? Some cavalry from Imladris that he managed to save from the red ruin of his army. Yeah, they're still fighting, holding up a lot of the Haradrim, but now the rest of the Haradrim have been rerouted to try and support their ally, and Khazad-dûm is just super overextended. Like, the push has been strong so far, but it's not enough. Generally you're not going to be able to win battles with just this kind of artless blobbing. You can get away with it a little bit because they are Khazad-dûm, but yeah, now he's separated from his ally. There's no support really that Harad can give him. You can already see the Erebor units moving to cut off the line of support here, the lifeline, shall we say, from Harad to their ally, the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm. Oof. Frying some of his own units there. Southron Warband, the Muhad Beast Tamers. I don't think they're going to do too well. Got some Ironfoot Pikes here. Turning around, there's another company of Ironfoot Pikes. Haradrim moving forward. Many of them are exhausted and tired, however, and under constant assault from that Dwarven Catapult. I think we're going to see Erebor possibly at least pull out a victory over 2 armies here, which is very impressive. And now Khazad-dûm has gone about as far as they're going to be able to go with that blob push tactic. Erebor just has them bottled up on all sides. They've still got some reserves. Got some Elven cavalry over here that hasn't really done much. I think they'd like run over here and died. At least I haven't seen them do anything. That would be a great time for them to try and hammer and anvil some of these dwarves, though. Puts the final nail into the coffin of Khazad-dûm. Oh man, those Haradrim just getting flattened. They've kind of come in a bit piecemeal. I think the main thrust of their army is still over here fighting the Elves of Imladris, who are gonna lose. Don't get me wrong, but like look at the damage they've done. The Elves of Imladris got picked on really early, but they've really brought it back. Like, look at the casualties that the Haradrim have taken. If they were able to just get in here quickly, especially if the dwarves supported them and didn't just turn around and blob their way into the Dwarves of Erebor. If the dwarves supported them and they attacked in unison, this would be a no-brainer. But as it is, the red team is being defeated thoroughly in detail by the Dwarves of Erebor. Well done to JD Toma. Yep, divide and conquer at its finest. Let's go ahead and turn up the speed a little bit here. Dwarves of Khazad-dûm not going to be able to hold out for too much longer. The Southrons being surrounded and put down. Ooh, the Elves of Imladris Got those Noritino cavalry in the action. A little bit of revenge here against Harad. Oh, one more big charge. More Haradrim reinforcements trickling in as the Muhads begin to break. Oh, and that's going to scare these guys. A rear charge there onto those exhausted Haradrim spearmen. You're going to cause them to flee. I think we're looking at a mass rout here. If support is not forthcoming. Black Serpent Bodyguard still pretty healthy. Oh man, there's just a tiny little bit of Haradrim left. Still dealing with the elves. And like I said, I like this tactic with the Mobile, but it actually played against the Haradrim player in this case by limiting his ability to surround and finish off the elves of Imladris. That is that is irony right there. Irony at its finest. One of his greatest strengths ended up becoming his greatest weakness. But I think it's going to lose him that fight. Lose the fight ultimately for both himself and his team. Dwarves of Erebor presenting a united front now to those Black Serpent Bodyguards. Not a lot that they're going to be able to do on their own and unaided. Over here, Dwarves of Khazad-dûm are no more. There they are, the 4th Legion Shield Guard surrounded, depleted. Gonna start to see some breaking here. There goes Balin. I think the rest of his few remaining forces are going to begin to break, except for the Sons of the Fallen. We're going to fight to the death. Wow, that was a hell of a comeback. He was certainly aided by some questionable decisions. Ooh, nice shot, fricasseeing one of those Black Serpent Bodyguards. But as I was saying, yeah, he was certainly aided by some of the questionable decisions of his opponents. But I thought he responded to their advance as well. He ended up surrounding their the few reinforcements that Harad could send to Khazad-dûm, preventing them utterly from being able to join up with their ally and present a unified front. Divide and conquer. Well executed. Where are the Serpent Bodyguards going? Man, they've pulled out a little bit too far. If they charge from where they are now, though, they could finish off that catapult. Unless, of course, they move over here and commit seppuku on these stakes. Yeah, they're just gonna sit there. I guess the Haradrim player has kind of given up hope at this point. The Elves of Imladris is still fighting. Look at that! What absolute beasts! Yeah, they really went beast mode in this Haradrim army. Just hundreds dead. What do we got going on over here? What are the Dwarves of Erebor up to? There's not really a whole lot that they can do. Last Serpent Bodyguards just kind of sitting there. Yeah, they're pretty limited in how they can approach this situation. Of course, there's pikes nearby. Oh, what did they charge into? Oh, I see. The Noritino cavalry. They're going to assassinate the Elven general simply out of spite. Not much else that they can do. Oh, I thought it was the Elven general, but apparently not. Let's go ahead and turn things up here. We're down to the final 5,000 frames. Like, what could possibly happen? Ooh, that was close. Mostly friendly fire there, nothing else. Oh, that's going to be the end of the Elves of Imladris. Still, took Harad a very long time to grind them down. Yeah, most of their forces are exhausted and depleted. I don't see there being any way for Harad to pull out a victory here. There's still quite a lot of dwarves left. Many of them are in good shape. The odd unit is tired, but many of them still in high spirits, still in healthy numbers. Let's get it up to 6 times speed. See what happens here. Ooh. A volley there from the Dwarven catapult, very nearly clipping what remains of the Haradrim. He's going to try and maneuver himself around those Mumakil corpses. The Dwarves of Erebor don't seem to be in any hurry to advance into this mountain pass, and really, why should they? They've got crossbow units, they've got artillery superiority. They could simply pound their enemy into submission if they so desired. Either way, I think this is a lost cause for Harad. Where are the Serpent Bodyguards? A little bit too far back. They could be used, at the very least, to harass the Erebor advance as they try to get themselves into position. What are these guys throwing at? Nothing, apparently. Alright. So Erebor seems to have themselves finally into position. And this is where we're going to see... Looks like an artillery barrage. No, the Erebor player is going to give the Haradrim a good death and start to move forward and engage them in close quarters. And there's really no reason not to. The Haradrim are too depleted. They couldn't possibly win. Might as well go for a good show and give them an honorable finish. Gonna go ahead, fast forward here just a little bit as those dwarves begin to move in. The Haradrim are gonna countercharge and give it everything they've got. But it's not gonna matter. The Dwarves of Erebor are supreme this day. I'm pretty sure the Haradrim know it. Where are those black serpents? What are they up to? Might be either coming around this side. Indeed they are, but I don't think they're going to get there before the battle is over. And certainly without their commander, these troops are not going to be able to hold the line for too long. Haradrim Spearmen already beginning to rout. Ooh, Buhad Beast Tamers thinking about the same thing. Even the Serpent Guard can't hold the line. That's going to be pretty well it. Still, a good finish. Serpent Guard fought hard. They fought to the end. Where's that general? That troublesome general. Well, he's hanging out here. Taking the long way around. Let's fast forward. And there we go. An admit defeat from the Haradrim player. Well played to JD Toma. Even his ally managed to get a ton of kills, and both the Haradrim and the dwarves just couldn't get it done. The dwarves especially, it was sloppy. I don't want to be mean, but like there was like it was very low effort, shall we say. The Haradrim, I think, kind of hung themselves with their own rope there by throwing in those Momokill in the way that they did, and I think it's a cool tactic. Certainly one I want to try, but in a small area like that, it's ultimately just going to leave obstacles in your way that's going to prevent you from doing what you need to do. And we definitely saw that with the Haradrim. So hope you guys enjoyed this battle, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.